took over the helm of Pacific Control Systems last year, and he has been focusing on strong efforts using information communications technology to improve sustainability and reduce carbon emissions by up to 20%. And he in fact can attest to this by dint to the fact that his headquarters buildings is the first headquarters buildings, and in fact building in the Middle East, to receive the Platinum LEED certification for sustainability and reliability. And talking about the Emirates Energy Star program in conjunction with the UAE's Ministry of Environment and Water, I'd like to ask Mr.Sougata Nandi to come to the stage. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I think I'll just wait for 30 seconds because there's a lot of traffic coming in and going out, and then I will start talking of Emirates Energy Star program that we are currently running. But before I get into the presentation that I have to share with you today, how many of you have actually come across or heard of the Emirates Energy Star program? Only one? Anybody else has heard of the Emirates Energy Star program? That's good, then we are in the right place exhibiting and talking about it so that more people can get to hear about it. So thank you very much for being here. The program that we are talking of is called the Emirates Energy Star program, and I'll take you through a 20-minute presentation to explain to you what exactly this program is all about, and then I'm happy to field questions. But having said that, at the end of the presentation, if you'd like more details, we are also participating as an exhibitor here at the WATEX. So please, I would like to invite you to come over to our stall in hall number 3 to understand more about the Emirates Energy Star program. The agenda is very simple. We'll give you a quick background in terms of what exactly Emirates Energy Star program is, what the inspiration behind this is, how the program is deployed, what the value propositions are, and typically what kind of results are expected out of this program. I will also briefly highlight some of the case studies or some of the active projects that we are currently managing at this point in time, and what are the kind of results that we are getting out of them. So I'm sure some of you have come across this particular report. This report is endorsed by the Ministry of Environment, UAE. This report was also generated by the Emirates Wildlife Society in collaboration with the WWF UAE chapter. This report essentially is a very comprehensive report in terms of the ecological footprint of the UAE, where the environmental performance of the UAE has been captured over the last few years. What is critical in this report is this particular chart, which essentially is one of the inspiration behind the Emirates Energy Star program. This chart clearly identifies UAE as having the highest per capita ecological footprint in the world at a country level if you were to compare this with the other countries. Now the primary contribution of this ecological footprint actually is coming from the buildings. As we all know, close to or approximately almost 100% of the electricity that is generated in the UAE comes from fossil fuels, and every time we burn fossil fuels we are actually generating more and more ecological emissions. So every time you are turning on a light, every time you turn on an air conditioning system, or every time you run your tap for potable water, we are actually contributing to this ecological footprint. And because of the very nature of the consumption of electricity in this part of the world and in the UAE, the per capita on a per capita basis, the ecological footprint of the UAE has become the highest. And therefore, while this is a current problem, there is also a fantastic opportunity for us to be able to do something about it and change it very, very rapidly. And that is where exactly the Emirates Energy Star program kicks in. So the Emirates Energy Star program is a national level energy efficiency program. The focus is largely on achieving energy conservation in buildings. There is a partnership also a partnership called the public-private partnership between Etisalat and Pacific Controls, Etisalat being the public side of the partnership and Pacific Controls being the private side. And we will take you through the roles of the different partners as well as we go along. The prime focus of this program is to reduce the carbon footprint of the UAE. Carbon footprint of the UAE by roughly about 20% by the year 2015. Now there are many initiatives that have been undertaken, particularly in the UAE over the last 5 years, various initiatives starting from Mazda City to the green buildings to various other renewable energy projects. while a lot of these projects are actually contributing to minimizing the ecological footprint, we were looking for an initiative that would rapidly be deployed and therefore can achieve the focused objectives that we have set out in the fastest time frame possible. Having scouted around and having seen the proposition that Etisalat brings and as the proposition that Pacific Controls brings as a technology-oriented company, we identified that the best way or the quickest way to achieve these reductions would be by utilizing information communication technology, and therefore the backbone, the foundation of Emirates Energy Star program is how do we use ICT to deliver sustainability. And again, the focus is very clear. We are not focused on various other initiatives, but ICT for sustainability would be used purely to minimize the energy consumption in the facilities of the UAE. Coupled with the fact that almost 100% of the electricity that is generated in the UAE comes from fossil fuels, the other alarming fact is that more than 80% or close to even 90% of the electricity that is generated in the UAE is actually consumed in the buildings. And therefore, this was the sector that was identified to have the biggest potential to have the quickest impact in the fastest possible time in terms of reducing the carbon footprint. Now, obviously, every time we do an energy conservation program inside buildings, we are talking of reducing the kilowatt hour consumptions. For every kilowatt hour consumption that we are able to eliminate or avoid in the buildings, we are able to actually also directly eliminate the carbon emissions that are associated with this kind of with this electricity generation. And also because of the fact that this electricity is coming at a price, obviously the landlords or the companies that own these buildings are able to minimize their operating expenditures as well. The Emirates Energy Star program is also set up to create a social awareness program also, and therefore through the Emirates Energy Star program we are able to actually achieve a triple bottom line impact, which talks of reducing the cost, talks of reducing the carbon footprint, and also achieves a social movement sort of thing. Now, how does this Emirates Energy Star program work? Emirates Energy Star is not a conventional energy conservation program for buildings. Conventional energy conservation programs in buildings would talk of replacement of inefficient lighting, doing proper designing, replacement of air conditioning equipment with latest technology, putting in more controls, and in essence, a typical energy conservation program in a building would take roughly about 2 to 3 months. The way the Emirates Energy Star program is set up in a typical building or even in a tower, the program can actually be implemented in a matter of 1 to 2 weeks. A large chunk of the buildings that are designed in the UAE already have efficient equipment. The trick or the premise that Emirates Energy Star works on is how to actually extract the efficiencies that are already possible to be achieved by optimizing the operation of this equipment rather than replacing those equipment with latest technology. In a sense, because we are talking of purely enhancing the operating efficiencies of equipment, we are also talking of a program that is extremely low cost, and therefore payback periods typically range in less than 2 years, and in fact in some of the projects that we have worked on, we have seen payback periods in the range of 1 month to 2 months as well. The program of Emirates Energy Star, again as I said earlier, is focused towards making sure that the energy consumption in buildings are reduced. This also brings in other advantages, typically for developers or owners who have widely distributed assets. So you have many developers who have custody of many buildings across the UAE. Currently these owners or these landlords do not have visibility into what is going on in those buildings in terms of the energy consumption by sitting from a central location. This program can actually bring all these facilities into one central dashboard which can be accessed from an IP address. The fastest way to implement this program would be to actually connect up to the building management system that already exists in many towers, in many buildings in the UAE. If there is no building management system in a particular building, then the program actually hooks up straight away into the major energy consuming equipment, which is primarily the HVAC, the chillers, the chill water pumps, and the air handling units. So in essence, you have at the bottom the different buildings, different types of buildings which a particular owner could have. And then on top of that comes the layer of field devices of the building management system, which again these field controllers and the building management system essentially is designed to bring in data and information from all the different equipment that are consuming energy. They're brought into a single controller. From the controller through the Etisalat 3G network, the information is transferred to the Global Command Control Center that resides at the headquarters of Pacific Controls. In a sense, the building is virtually now transferred into the Global Command Control Center. So instead of having a control room in each and every building in the UAE, you could actually transfer the control of all the buildings in the UAE to one Global Command Control Center, from where each and every individual building can be operated in the most energy efficient manner. Why this is important? This is important because this brings in economies of scale. So instead of having control room in every building, you actually have one control room that can support thousands of buildings. Also, this control room is manned by subject matter experts, or experts, engineers, technical people who actually know how to operate equipment in the most energy efficient way, which is not necessarily the case from control room operators who currently operate many of these buildings. Now again, all of this this connectivity, the information gathering, the analysis of this information, the monitoring and controlling of this equipment is made possible due to a software that has been developed over the last couple of years, and it's a software that is in progress as well. It's called the Galaxy platform. It's a city enterprise management platform proprietary to Pacific Controls. So this software platform actually enables us to make sure that the buildings that we connect up to, the equipment in those buildings, are actually working in the most energy efficient way based on certain programs that are put in place. Now, because we are able to now collect thousands of data points, bring them onto the same platform, ensure that all the information that is being collected is actually on the same language platform, we are able to generate information in terms of the carbon footprint. We're able to, while we are able to optimize the operation of the building, we can immediately see on a daily basis the impact on the reduction in the energy consumption in these facilities, and therefore measurement and verification is a key component of this project. So many times when you talk of energy conservation program in buildings, people ask, is this auditable? Is this information verifiable? Yes, through the Emirates Energy Star program, this is very much possible. This program, because now the buildings are virtually being controlled from one single command control center, we also have the ability, or the program has the ability to continuously commission this equipment. As you know, the weather pattern in the UAE dramatically changes from January through December. And depending on the different season, depending on the different operating hours during different seasons, depending on the holiday season, depending on the nature of the building and its different occupancy hours, the buildings can be continuously commissioned, which essentially means that the set points can be adjusted, time schedule of equipment can be adjusted on a continuous basis. This is essentially nothing but optimizing the operation, making sure that the equipment are being operated only when required, and when the equipment are being operated, that they are operated the most energy efficient way. So this ability is brought together by the Galaxy software platform. So while there is an energy saving component, which is the direct benefit, which reduces the operating cost, which reduces the carbon footprint, and which reduces or generates the social awareness, we also have a whole host of other benefits that this program brings. Typically, facility management concept in the Middle East is still evolving. It's in a nascent stage. Most buildings do not necessarily have a proper facility management program in place. Typical facility management concept hinges around cleaning the buildings and making sure if an equipment breaks down, go and fix it. Now, because this program is actually hooked onto individual equipment and we are monitoring certain vital parameters like equipment run hours, equipment current consumption, there is an element of predictive or ability to predict if an equipment is likely to fail within the next few days or within the next few hours. And therefore, that information can be plugged or transmitted to the people who are responsible, who have the custody of this equipment and who have the custody to make sure that this equipment are running the most in a way that the building comfort conditions are maintained. So instead of getting a call after 2 hours that certain area of the building is actually become hot, and then the technician is dispatched without having prior information on how or what the exact problem is, this particular program can actually send that information into the mobile phone of the facility manager that this particular equipment is likely to fail in the next few minutes, and this is the particular nature of the problem. So this is the holistic approach of the Emirates Energy Star program that brings in many benefits. How does this work? The reason this program is very, very easy and quick to deploy is because the program purely focuses on the main energy consuming equipment, which is the HVAC. So therefore there is no, while the program can engage into the lighting and other energy consuming equipment as well, because the biggest achievement of energy savings in the range of 10 to 30% can be achieved through the air conditioning system alone, the program purely focuses on those heavy equipment that consume the biggest energy. and therefore the idea behind this program is to hook up to the chillers, the chill water pumps, the various air handling units. A key component of this program is also metering. So we have done extensive metering in some projects, and some bare minimum metering goes in. This is the other challenge in the UAE, and not only in the UAE, many parts, in all parts of the world in fact, that a building's particular utility consumption, the building owner gets to know only about 2 to 3 months down the line when he receives the invoice from the utility company. Now that is way too late for people to go back and do some changes in the building to make sure that the energy consumption is actually under control. So a program like this actually measures the kilowatt hour and measures the gallons of water consumption as well as BTU consumption on an hourly basis. So therefore today, if you were to run a program in a building, run the Emirates Energy Star program in a building, and you were to decide to turn off all the lights, you could actually tell within 2 hours whether the turning of the lights have an impact on the energy consumption or not. And if it has an impact, yes, then how much of that impact is. So it's a quantifiable, measurable initiative that Emirates Energy Star program is. While the facility owners are in effect transferring the monitoring and controlling of their building to the Global Command Control Center, they also have easy access through purely an IP address in terms of seeing what the program looks like. Why, the other question that I've many times asked, why is Etisalat partnering in this program? Now Etisalat is partnering in this program because telcos around the world are moving into the space of the M2M, machine to machine, where huge amounts of benefit, cost benefit, additional revenue benefits can be obtained by using the M2M ecosystem. This is the standard M2M ecosystem for the Emirates Energy Star program. You will see at the bottom ring all different types of equipment that traditionally go into buildings. Those are not unique. Any building that you walk into would ideally have one or more of those equipment in place. Now these equipment are there which consume energy and they generate certain work. Generate certain work in terms of either condition the space or lighten up the space or create some other functions like transportation, vertical transportation, horizontal transportation, etc. On top of that comes the other layer, which is the layer of sensors and the meters. The sensors essentially sensing what is the indoor environmental condition. Sensor also sensing the different parameters of the equipment and also monitoring the energy consumptions of the space. All this information through the SIM card can be obtained, pulled up to the cloud, and at the cloud resides the Galaxy software platform, which then collects all this information, puts a program in place which is very simple. Any housewife would know that if you are not going to remain in the house, you can turn the AC off. So therefore, if there's an office complex that works from 8 to 8 p.m., then all the air conditioning equipment can be turned off by 8 o'clock, programmed automatically, which is not what is happening currently. And because we are able to access all this data and we are able to analyze all the data and generate certain sensible report out of it, on the top layer you will find all the different types of dashboards and reports that you can get. Otherwise, these data are millions of data points in number. Just looking at some numbers, you cannot make any analysis or do any kind of predictive activity. Therefore, it is important to bring all this data onto a template or onto a format where people or end users are able to understand what is happening in their buildings. So that's the top layer that you are looking at. The other advantage with the software platform and this Emirates Energy Star program is that all the data that is collected, all the alarms that are collected can actually be fed into a facilities or an organization's existing ERP system. So if you have an Oracle software that is running, managing your facilities or managing the workflow processes, the data that comes out of this Galaxy platform can directly be plugged into those platform of those softwares that are already in place. In essence, this program does not require a replacement of the existing softwares that certain buildings would be already working on. We have all spoken of sustainability over the last few years in Dubai, in the UAE in particular, and around across the world as well. We know as commercial organizations there are certain reports that we need. The finance department requires certain reports in terms of the P&L statement, in terms of the utility bills. There are CSR departments in big corporates who need reports based on carbon footprint. There are other facility management people who need different types of reports. So all of these reports can be generated from this program, brought onto the same platform, because essentially all these reports come from the same data. Different people like to look at this different data in a different format. The finance person's end-use requirement may not be the same as the facility manager's end-use requirement. So all of these reporting, different types can be created Individual facilities ask us for different types of dashboards that are relevant for them, and those can be also tailor-made as per the requirement of the end users. So this is at the high level that the Emirates Energy Star program works. So what does this actually mean for a commercial or a residential building which has a centralized air conditioning system? This is a project that we are very proud of. If you walk into the Diva stand, you will find brochures on this, on a case study that really details out exactly how the project has been implemented and how the performance of the project is. This is Diva's customer service building in Al Hudayba. This is a purely commercial building, stops working at 8 o'clock every evening. The building has a primary chill water system, 3 chillers, 3+1 chill water pumps, and typically when we entered the building, the air conditioning system would be running 24 hours a day. This was the original scenario. If you look at the set point of the chillers, they were all set at about 7.5 degrees, all the chillers, and the compressors would load and unload depending on the building requirement. The 3 pumps, because it's a fixed peak system, the 3 pumps would be running 24 hours a day throughout the year. So when we walked into this building, we realized there is a huge savings potential here. This whole building was converted onto the Galaxy platform, and the building now looks like this. So if you were to understand what the building looks like, you don't need to go to the building. You can log in and you can see the building, the features of the building. Now if you notice, the set point of the chillers has become something like 9 degrees, which is higher than the 7.5 degrees that we saw earlier. Now this set point also is a dynamically changing set point, so it is not fixed throughout the day or throughout the year. This set point is adjusted using the Galaxy software platform based on the building's air conditioning requirement. Now any building's air conditioning requirement typically is depicted by the temperature of the return chill water. So the moment the temperature of the return chill water goes up, means the air conditioning requirement of the heat load in the building is rising, and therefore the software program automatically keeps reducing the set point of the chiller to make sure that the building's comfort conditions are met. Inversely, if the temperature of the return chill water keeps going down, means that the building's heat load has gone down, and therefore we do not need to run the air conditioning at the same level. We can keep raising the set point. So there is no manual intervention. You do not need to dedicate a person looking at these parameters. What are the kind of savings that we can achieve through this? This took us by surprise, although we did not entirely, it was not entirely unexpected. We expected 20 to 25% savings, but if you were to compare this day with the day immediately after, we are looking at a 33% savings on the energy consumption of the chillers and chill water pumps. And if we were to compare the Friday after this program was put in place and the Friday before, which is Friday after with Friday before, we are looking at an energy savings of 50%. So that's the kind of impact, that's the kind of potential that is available, that simply needs to be tapped. No major retrofit, it's all about controllers installed to give us the right control on the equipment that we targeted. We did an analysis for 1 month after the program was put in place. On an average, a daily savings of 38% was achieved on this program. These are some of the sample dashboards that Emirates Energy Star programs can have depending on the requirement, and these dashboards are all interactive dashboards. You can click on these dashboards, you can drill down, you can have an annual picture, you can go down into the monthly, daily and hourly programs as well. And these dashboards pretty much give you information on real time, on a daily basis, the information that different departments require. Facility manager's information is available here, CSR department's information is available here, carbon footprint, and so on and so forth in terms of financials as well. I will quickly run through this. The whole Galaxy software platform operates on the premise that we are able to connect to thousands of buildings at the same time, and in turn tens of thousands of equipment. So in effect, we have all the energy consuming equipment from where we are collecting data on a real-time basis, and therefore we are able to monitor. If there is an anomaly or a change that happens, for example, the graph on the top left corner where the energy consumption has gone beyond a certain limit, then we are immediately alerted through an alarm, and we keep this under observation. If the anomaly has happened due to natural causes, a building has been used for another extra 2 hours, then it's fine, then it's a temporary anomaly, and therefore we do not need to take any reactive action on that. If an anomaly is observed which is essentially to do with maintenance people who go and do maintenance on chillers, and then in order to test the chillers they reset set points, and those set points are not reset back once they finish the work, and therefore the energy consumption could have shot up because the chillers, instead of being at 9 degrees, are running at 5 degrees right now. So that can be reset from remote, so you do not need to go and inform people or deploy manpower at site, and therefore these kind of huge, significant man-hour savings, and therefore costs are also achieved, which are not necessarily directly linked to energy savings, but an added advantage. And then in the third instance, where this cannot be rectified from remote, the program can identify the exact nature of the problem and pass that information on to the facility management people, who are then deployed to the site using an informed job card. So they go to the site one time, they know exactly what problem to fix, and they fix it and come back. So that's the advantage of a program like this. You do not need to have people at site, but you can have people remotely available who can then get all the right information and go and take action. This program also has the ability to benchmark. So if you have a, let's say, for example, a convenience store like Union Cooperative, who run many facilities across the cities. Today, Union Cooperative would like to know how the different facilities are functioning vis-a-vis the energy consumption, and all those benchmarks can be done, comparisons can be made, and then corrective action could be taken on these facilities. This is a project that we have done for the Executive Affairs Authority. This is not strictly an Emirates Energy Star program, but this program desired extensive metering. This is the Office of the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi. There are different government departments occupying different floors. So the whole premise of this project was to install 300 meters, energy meters, BTU meters, and water meters, which were all transferred into, because these are measuring different parameters, they were all translated into carbon footprint, and every floor of the building actually has a TV screen which publicizes the something called a league table to show which floor has the highest carbon footprint and which floor has the lowest carbon footprint. This is not technically a conservation program. This is a social experiment that Executive Affairs Authority is running, with the objective that if we were to share with people their carbon footprint, would they take active action and work towards minimizing that? So this is a program that is currently in progress in Abu Dhabi. Again, these kind of dashboards, these are surface temperatures. Not every energy saving can be achieved through energy conservation measures. Energy savings can also be achieved by identifying wastage and leakages. So this kind of dashboards actually help us identify different days of the week and different hours of the day that where the energy consumption is happening. So if it's an office complex and there is a significant amount of consumption happening in the middle of the night, this gives us the visibility and therefore the ability to go and actually investigate and find out if certain equipment are running that should not be running. So technically this is not a conservation measure, but purely identify that there is a leakage in the system. This typically happens for water as well. Many buildings have leaking water pipes and tanks, which people simply do not know. They just get the bill, they have no idea what is going wrong. So a surface chart like that can actually help identify if there is a water leakage in the program or not. Again, user-friendly, this kind of information can be pushed into the SMS of the finance manager on an every morning basis to show him whether his P&L is within target or whether he is out of target. Okay, let me quickly pass through. The benefits are pretty simple and obvious, obviously, because the premise is to reduce the kilowatt hour and the gallons of electricity as well as water, and therefore every other associated reductions are directly proportional. Many times people ask me that, okay, I reduce my consumption by 10%, how much will my carbon footprint go down by? The simple answer is the carbon footprint will also go down by 10% because it is directly proportional to the energy consumption. The Emirates Energy Star program is also a rating system. So at the end of a one-year performance, there is an award that is handed over to the building. This is a 5-star rating system going up from 10% energy savings to 25% savings, and therefore a facility could be a 1-star facility to a 5-star facility as part of the Emirates Energy Star program. There's a simple process, again, how this program is deployed. Obviously, a building needs to be first studied or surveyed in terms of identifying what the building's operating parameters currently are, and therefore what is the opportunity to save there. And on the basis of that, a proposal or a cost-benefit analysis is prepared, and based on the go-ahead of the building owner, the program is deployed. As I said earlier, it is important to emphasize that this program is designed to deploy within a matter of 1 to 2 weeks in any kind of building. And therefore, the whole objective of this program is to hook up to 100,000 buildings in the UAE within the next few years' time, and therefore, leading to the 20% carbon footprint reduction at the whole UAE level. So that's pretty much what I wanted to share, and I would be happy to field some questions. This is a sample of the projects that we are currently working with, and I would leave the floor open at this point. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Sougata, for a very interesting insight into also the economic as well as the environmental benefits, managing our emissions. Ladies and gentlemen, do we have any questions for Mr. Sougata at this stage? Perhaps if I can, sorry, we have a question just over here. If you'd like to give your name, the microphone will be passed. If you can give your name and your company, please. Let me give you my microphone, and then you can say what needs to be said.
Okay. Yeah, that's working. Michel Farah from Dyke and Macquarie, Middle East. Question I have: we heard about the program. There's a program called ESMA, which is the STAR program for equipment. Is that by any way linked to the ESMA, which is like a federal initiative on energy efficiency, but on equipment, but also following a STAR rating, I believe?
There is no direct correlation between ESMA and the Emirates Energy Star, although one could be fed into the other. The Emirates Energy Star program is a star leveling program for at the whole building level. So the way the program works is if a building's energy consumption is 100 this year, and if we are able to reduce it by, let's say, 15% or 20% the next year through the Emirates Energy Star program, the building would be awarded a 3-star or a 4-star depending on the performance. So it's a leveling program for the buildings, not at the equipment level. But obviously if the building already has many star rated equipment, that helps. Not necessarily, of course, because it's not good enough to have the star rated equipment in place, but also how well we are operating them. So you could have the most energy efficient lights, but if they're running 24 hours, it's not going to help. So the Emirates Energy Star program is about hooking up to those equipment and making sure that the equipment are being operated in the most energy efficient manner.
Do we have any more questions? If we then close on this announcement, I'd like to thank our three speakers for a very interesting series of insights. Dr. Keramat Fahouri, Peter Glavitz, and Sougata Diab, thank you very much indeed. I'd also like to announce we have a winner. I'm delighted to announce that Ms. Fatma Abbas Ibrahim has won a prize, and my colleague Abdullah is here and looking forward to giving you a prize for attending this particular session. I'd like to thank you all for attending so far. We will be taking a 20-minute break and beginning our next session at 12 o'clock. Thank you very much indeed, ladies and gentlemen. We look forward to seeing you shortly. Thank you.